Welcome to Java, and thank you kindly for joining me. It's November 24th, 2025. It is also Monday on a seriously shortened trading week. Thursday is Thanksgiving holiday in the United States. And while the markets are open Friday morning until 1 p.m., it is going to be very light volume as all of the major players will be out of the room. So it will be extreme volatility if anyone is trading that day. Now, I've got a variety of things that I would like to bring up today, seemingly unrelated, but one is what I'm terming Brexodus. Talk about that, Qwen, and the photo there is a rare earth mine in Malaysia. So, as always, let's get started with what's going on in the markets. Now, fear greed meter at 11. This is extreme fear territory still. Hit a low of 6 last week. So we're still in this range, but it's beginning to pick up. So we're going to look at some of these factors. In short, it looks like it's going to be green on open, not in a massive way, but we're building back up. Now, is this a bull trap, or is this something to where it's a good buy-in, at least for the short period of time? We'll take a look at that. So the 10-year yield coming down a bit. So more buyers into the treasuries at the moment because they believe these rates are coming down more. Now, normally that means money flowing into treasuries out of the stock market. However, today is a little bit different. We're watching a little bit more investing in these things. We're also seeing the relative strength of the dollar coming down. So as the dollar loses strength, the markets tend to go up and gain. So pricing coming up for that, as well as cryptocurrencies. You can see Bitcoin, even though it appears down, it was up higher earlier, but it's back above 86,000 and it had dropped much lower over the weekend. So that in play with looking at the futures, volatility index down. Gold and silver also down a bit. These are your kind of confirmation plays, if you will, to the fear index. So the fear is coming back off of this, and I'll talk about why in a moment. Crude oil also down and also looking a bit weaker because there might be peace in Ukraine. So don't worry because we'll have replacement wars right behind that. So in case you're concerned about that, we'll be just fine. We're still going to be at war. We've got the daily driver, and what is bringing all of this green back in is the rate of a Fed cut is back on it. It dropped significantly, and with all of that, everyone's planning on easy money. So as I was speaking about the war, Rubio's talking about tremendous progress on this peace plan, so that pressured oil prices down. Howard Lutnick is also saying that average Americans' income is growing. He just said this morning, so I don't know if you're seeing that. I know that some Americans' income is coming, but it's the upper of that K that we speak about. There is an entire lower half the population, actually it's a little bit more, that is feeling much more pain and not doing well with their income. So going on, we've got Andrew Yang backing Trump's $2,000 tariff dividend plan in order to support the working class. So I want to take a moment about all of this is highly inflationary. And with high inflation, that means prices go up. That includes the market and equities. So we are keeping long positions, not diving all in. I do believe there is probably still quite a bit more correction coming, but it might be pushed off for a bit. We'll talk about why. Inflation is still the expectation here. Now, this is the Fed Watch to see the difference with the tool. It was at about 40% and it's back up to 75.5. Chances for a rate cut in December. I believe that even though they're pushing off all of the data past that date, that they're still probably going to do a quarter point cut because they're watching how everything else is being affected. And they're also looking at different points of data They don't just use the official data that's given, but they have to say that because otherwise it would not be legitimate. So we're going to look at the calendar. Nothing for today. Tuesday, got some reports, PPI, and a few other things coming in. Jobless claims on Wednesday, and that, for the most part, will tie up the trading week. I believe Wednesday will also be light trading, as many are going to head out for the weekend early, but we'll see. So, a couple of individuals came to the market this morning. Novo Nordisk, in a very negative way. They had a negative trial come out, so it is one of the high clip movers to the downside. I do want to bring up Qwen again. I spoke about them last week. This is the AI that is the Chinese version, and they're sponsored by Alibaba, going to be used from them by their head is Ants Company and Jack Ma. So another thing that I had brought up prior is that some of these deals that are going on, in particular for the rare earths, some of the tariffs, some of the deals with Australia in particular, Malaysia that I was speaking about, some actually also in Africa, are all about this pollution, as you can see here. Pollution from rare earth mining in Myanmar is tainting rivers in Southeast Asia, threatening farmers, fishermen, and entire ecosystems. In order to mine and process these is very dirty. So it's not that the United States doesn't have enough of these. Actually, they've found more resources, but they're being very quiet about it because they're highly uh, pollution sources, and they would rather do deals, have this stuff mined elsewhere, and then just do a trade deal and purchase whatever it is that they want. And yes, that is how they do business. So I want to shift a little bit for the economy behind what's going on, because aside from these trade deals in order to get what they want, there is a lot of political shift. Now, in particular in the UK, a lot of higher end business owners are now planning on leaving because there is a budget proposal that is going to increase costs for business owners as well as on the taxation side. Now, if you tax the rich people, the problem they're not thinking about is that rich people have plenty of money for private jets and real estate agents and also boats that they can leave. So that is called voting with your feet. It's been proven time and time again that they believe that they're going to squeeze out the upper class for revenue, but they have that revenue for a reason. So they're just leaving, and then they'll be stuck with all of the people that are on the taking of the taxation side and no one putting into it. So, not just in the UK, these are Reeves tax hikes, as this says, putting UK on the road to decline after this happens. Now, it does take a short period of time. Another one that has recently learned this lesson is France. So, once all of them are doing this, it's going to be a real issue, and they'll figure out very quickly that the math doesn't quite work out. Now, aside from them, this has happened in New York and California. It is very similar. Now, this particular clip is talking about high costs, creating a self reinforcing exodus of business and workers. But we've already seen, in particular out of California, with their taxation policies, that they've had massive losses of Tesla and a lot of the high tech names now moving out because of their policies. So they're losing rather than getting a good amount from these high end multi-millionaires, billionaires, they're getting zero. So I do want to shift to digital payments. The cryptocurrency Saturday ISO 222 did get implemented. We are still prior to banking hours in the United States. There are already a couple of issues that are showing up, and they're quelling these fires as rapidly as they can. The reason being they really don't want this in the news. So, as they've adopted the new rails for the digital currency stablecoin rollout, we are left with, for the most part, a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of look at Bitcoin, look at other things, look at Epstein, anything else other than what they're doing. So $80,000 Bitcoin puts, which means they're betting against the cryptocurrency, thinking that it's going to go down, is now the most popular bet. So whenever the boat is so overloaded to the wrong side, as this was happening, now it's already back above 86,000. So market makers typically will bounce them out, even if it's just above target prices. So massive losses will be seen by these people that are short this morning. So Strategy and Bitcoin supporters. Strategy is the Michael Saylor company that has been purchasing massive amounts of Bitcoin. They are calling to boycott JP Morgan. And what is this over? This is because Jack Mallers is one amongst quite a few. So what has happened is they are shutting down all of his accounts that they held in the bank. And there's some critical things in here. They said there is no real reason for why they shut his accounts, other than what they are calling concerning activity that had been found during, use air quotes on this, routine monitoring. So they're monitoring bank accounts, the purchases, all of the activity in there. And if you don't know who Jack Mallers is, he started company Strike, which is Bitcoin kind of payment rails, if you will. He's got plenty of money. I'm absolutely positive his accounts would be in good standing. So JP Morgan closed him down without a lot about this. So we'll probably be hearing a little bit more about this. It was also not just JP Morgan, but also Morgan Stanley. So slight shift over to China. They're now very quietly in the background, and I've been saying this as well, not just Bitcoin, but gold. So when we talk about the miners, they can almost go together. China is now the third largest Bitcoin mining hub with over a 14% share. Now, initially they lost a lot of ground to the United States, but now, as it says, there's a lot of underground activity, and they're using their leverage is cheap power because they're willing to use coal and all of the, if you would say, dirtier sources of energy. So, a couple of things I want to leave you with as thoughts to think about. We've been talking about what this main shift really is about. Now, AWS is Amazon Web Services. They are the backbone for multiple companies, large companies in the United States, as we just saw with some of the recent outages that they had rippled across the United States as well as globally. Now, they're highlighting digital identity infrastructure options with hybrid cloud MOSIP. So while this is kind of an individual ticker thing as well, they are moving that shift to digital identity very quietly. Second one, these were all from different areas. Digital ID solutions for displaced populations was addressed at the United Nations. Now, what are displaced populations? Well, pretty soon it's just about to be everybody. So anyone that's been seeking asylum, anyone that these are becoming larger groups all of the time. They're coming up with excuses for why this will be important, as well as critical to security is going to be the key word for this that they're going to use to push. Another key here, Syrian NGO looking to digital identity infrastructure in order to rebuild post-Assad. Why in the world would you need that in order to rebuild? You don't. That's the answer. So the answer is truly it's not needed. And even if it was needed, there are decentralized solutions. So as always, just want to bring this up. I hope this video doesn't get flagged. However, until I see you again, my friends, resist.